She graduated from high school at the age of 14. She earned her master's at the age of 18. And if this sounds amazing to you, then you haven't heard anything yet. Honoring Black History Month, this is the life of Katherine Johnson. Johnson was born in White Sussex Springs, West Virginia in 1918. We stated before, she was an excellent student, especially in math, where she excelled. She was even ready for high school at the age of 10. But where she lived, African Americans at that time couldn't even attend high school. This forced her family to move to another part of the state. She and her siblings continued their education, while her father stayed at home where they lived to continue to work. At 15 in college, one of Johnson's professors noticed her math expertise, so he encouraged her to pursue this subject. The professor created a course of analytic geometry designed especially for her. She asked lots of questions in class, not because she didn't understand, because she knew the other students not only didn't understand the material, they didn't even understand the concept of what the professor was talking about. So she asked the questions for them. She graduated from college in degrees in mathematics and in French. Johnson wanted her graduate's degree, but she settled on teaching due to her husband at the time being diagnosed with cancer. She found out that the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA, were looking for African American women to act as computers. They needed these skills in order to check the calculations of the engineers in the guidance and navigation department. She started working there in 1953 as one of those computers in skirts, reading black box data from airplanes and calculating on that. She wanted to know not only how the calculations worked, but why they were so important. Like I said before, she asked a lot of questions. She started going to the research meetings to the dismay of other men, because at that time women weren't allowed per se in their meetings. It wasn't a rule, they just decided that. So when all the flight mechanics branches needed extra help, Johnson was selected. It was supposed to be temporary, but Johnson stayed there on the team until she moved to the spacecraft control branch, which was responsible for designing space mission and calculations. One of the missions was Freedom 7, Alan Shepard's flight that made him the first American to orbit space. The goal was to get him into space and back, but there were factors to consider here. NACA, which was now known as NASA, told Johnson where they wanted him to land, and she worked backwards from there. Thanks to Johnson's calculations, he splashed down right on target in the Atlantic Ocean after his return from space. When NASA was ready to send John Glenn to orbit, they were using digital calculations. But even then, they wanted Johnson to confirm a computer's results. Did you hear what I said? A computer's results. Johnson went on to help NASA with the Apollo 11 mission. But this time, the end point was not the ocean. It was on the moon. And since the moon is a moving target, this presented even a greater challenge to NASA and Johnson. Since the landing had to be smooth, the rocket had to leave in a certain window of time, a time when the moon would be orbiting the Earth right in the rocket's path. And on July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong made those very first steps on the moon, thanks to NASA Johnson retired from Nassau in 1986. She died on February 24th, 2020 at the age of 101. She was truly not only a great woman of our history, but a great person of our history, period. And her contributions opened doors and inspired not only women, especially women, but not only women, but other people to accomplish things that they set out to do by the courageous act of this woman. So on Black History Month, I celebrate you, Katherine Johnson, and may you rest in peace. If you like anything I said in this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, leave a comment, and until the next time, the Libra Man is out.